My name is Bayo Kolade. I'm a veterinary doctor, I'm a pastor, I'm also a writer. I was just a young person who had read so many storybooks and wanted to write his own. I was in secondary school, class 1, going to class 2, and I just felt I should write my own story. It was actually my second story to be written. I wrote the first one when I was in primary school, but it was thrown into the Ogupa River. So I got discouraged, and then for many years I didn't write until I got to secondary school, and I just felt I want to write my own story. And I started writing One Cock and Bull story, which eventually became The Only Child. Okay, the main character in the book, Shegun, had a setback, but he bounced back and he became successful in life. So the fact that he bounced back was all I wanted to show in the story is that if you have a setback, you can bounce back. So today is October 10, 2024. This book was launched on October 10, 1991. So this makes it 33 years that The Only Child has been on the bookshelf. So at the launching of The Only Child in 1991, Professor Obolanle Awe came to be chairperson of the occasion. The governments of Oyo and I think Ogun State were represented at the event. And I remember then the Honorable Commissioner for Education in Oyo State, Engineer Gbade Gbadamosi, came to represent the governor. And so following that, the book was recommended as a literature book in Oyo State. Thereafter, Ogun State joined Lagos State, I think Osun State, then Kwara State. 4 or 5 states in the southwest listed the book as a recommended book in secondary school. And it was a very joyful feeling going on the street and someone would say, I know this guy. Say, your name is Bayo Kolade. I'll say yes. And then or you go to places and you say, my name is Bayo Kolade. Say, I know you. I read your book in secondary school. It was a very interesting feeling in those days. Okay, I've gone on after this to write a number of other books. I did Yoshe and the Gang for the United Nations Drug Control Program. I wrote Blocking the Greedy Lizard. I was telling a story to my kids sometime when termites, when the rain falls and termites will come, that nocturnal flight of termites. I was telling my children a story about it and I turned it into a storybook. There were a number of other storybooks I've done here. And this is Colade Sport. Okay, it's there. I was telling my children a story also, and I turned it into a book. So 2 of the books in the background came out of stories I was telling my children some years after this one. But I've gone from writing children's stories to also writing features, and I think features or documentary or feature writing has swallowed much of my time. But I'm still a storyteller at heart. Very soon, I'll be back to writing stories full time. Okay. Uh, do I still write? Yes, I still do. As I said, I I've gone from being a player to a mentor, and now part of what I do is to look for young people. I've got published at age as a teenager, and so I'm looking for people who are much younger than the age at which my book came out. I was under 19 then, so and I've succeeded in finding a 12-year-old, a 13-year-old, and 2 10-year-olds that were able to publish their books. So now I'm more into encouraging young people to kickstart their writing careers early. This is what I do now, looking for talents and trying to find opportunities, giving vent to the talent of these young persons. But I still do write. On this day, 10th October 2024, I'd like to make a shout out to Mr. Kunle Dagunduro. Well, by now, it should be Pa Kunle Dagunduro because he's quite elderly now. He was my teacher in secondary school who later became a publisher, and he was the first to gamble on my talent. He published that book, The Only Child, at a time when I was getting rejection from what you call big publishers who would probably feel that I was too young or too raw. He took a gamble and decided that The Only Child should be published. And at that time, it was not commonplace like this to publish young persons. So it was a big gamble, but he invested money, invested energy. It was a project that took like 3 years between submission of the manuscript and the actual publishing. And he invested money, invested time, and today I am grateful for what the publication of The Only Child did in my life as a young person and, in fact, in my family. But if Mr. Kunle Dagunduro did not believe in my talent then, perhaps all that history would not have existed. So I'd like to thank him wherever he is now, and his children and his family. This is somebody saying thank you to Mr. Kunle Dagunduro. Okay, to all who read The Only Child growing up as seconds, I hope you did not just read it to pass exams. I hope you remembered a few things in the book that you have made use of. In particular, I hope that there's someone out there who read The Only Child and learned that if you have suffered a setback, you do not have to give up. So if you have a setback, you can bounce back. That for me is the message of The Only Child. If you've had a setback, you can surely bounce back. So even now, I'm saying to you, don't let setbacks set you down. You can always bounce back. Thank you.